What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'd like to go over Tesla for the week ahead. We've got a strong week with earnings coming up, some news with the robo-taxi news going on, and we'll go over the news at the end of this video. But for now, we're going to go over the chart, because if you've been trading with me for years, many of you have, I am a chart trader. So the chart speaks to me. It tells me whether I go short, long, or just sit on the sideline. So we'll go over the chart first, then we'll go over the news next, and we'll kind of put together a game plan going forward this week and see whether Tesla is going to be calls or puts on my end anyways. So what you're seeing here is the typical layout that I'm eyeing each day. I've got a 1 hour chart, a 4 hour chart, a 1 day chart, weekly chart. The reason I have 2 daily charts, if you saw my last video last week, that's because I have the same indicator but with different settings on each one of these. So I want to see the different indicator settings and levels that it's telling me based on those settings. But I'll go over that once we hit those time frames. We'll start with the 1 hour time frame. I use the 1 hour time frame mostly to depict the shorter time frame moves, the quicker moves, right? So what I'm looking for is this is going to give me that minor support. So if I ever say, we've got a minor support or minor resistance, typically it's because I'm looking at a smaller time frame, and that's going to be this 1 hour time frame. So if you're zooming out a little bit here, and sometimes I'll change this to a 4 hour time frame with the quick trade settings. I've got the Bullish Pivot Pro on, and the Bullish Pivot Pro is my favorite indicator for all of these setups. The Pivot Pro, on this setting, I have it on the long trend setting. So you can have the quick trend setting. I like the long trend setting on the 1 hour time frame. Again, this is a smaller time frame, so I'm not looking for a whole bunch of signals. I'm looking for more fluent moves, longer trend type moves. What I want to see is something like this here. If you zoom in, this is what I like to see. We don't want to see this chop, 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 because that tends to equate to either small losses or small wins, not the powerful moves that we're looking for. Excuse me. So we're looking for those longer trend type of moves. So that's why I keep it on the longer trend setting. If I have this, if I double click on the indicator and switch this to a quick trend setting, you'll see we just have more alerts. So that's okay. If I want to get closer to the top and closer to the bottom of each one of these reversals, that's okay. So maybe you can use something like that for timed entries. But for me, it's really going to give me the full, I guess, look or outlook of that move with the longer trend. So longer trend setting is what I have for the 1 hour chart. And that's what's different about these other time frames. The daily down here, I've got a quick trend and long trend. And that's the difference between the two settings. And that's why I like to have those same time frames, but different settings. So anyway, 1 hour chart, right? Taking a look at this. What I'm seeing at this time in the close of last week was we ended the week bullish. We started the week bullish, or started the day bullish, I guess that we could say, on Thursday, July 10th, and we continued to stay bullish until now. And we're going into tomorrow's session, which will be the 14th, and we finished Friday on the 11th. So we are gapping up at this time, and I don't know where we're going to open up tomorrow. So we'll see it tomorrow at 4 a.m. Eastern time. We'll see at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time as well, to really see where we're opening up, because that's going to be most important. That's going to tell us the candles. But right now, as of now, the support level is going to be sitting here, 307.65 and 310.64. Now, again, we'll see where we open up on in tomorrow's morning session around 4 a.m., and we'll see where we start trading. But as of now, for the smaller minor support, again, 1 hour time frame, minor support and minor resistance, minor support level is going to be right in here. So if I draw a line, right? So you can just draw those lines and get yourself prepared for the trading session. So basically, this is a smaller time frame. This is going to be possibly a little bit more signals than our larger time frames, so that's something we want to be aware of. But what this is saying is, as of now, if we stay above these 2 white lines, we are bullish. We're going to continue to gap up. That's what this time frame is speaking to me and telling me. So that is the 1 hour time frame. So we can say that on the 1 hour time frame, a shorter time frame, we are bullish. Right now we have support 307.65 and 310.64. So if you want to get these levels, I will be putting these levels out every day. We put a daily report in Tesla before market open at 9:30. So if you want to get that, I'll put these levels as well as the daily and weekly levels as well. So we'll go over that in a minute. But that's going to be our first support levels, 307.65, 310.64. These are levels that I'm watching tomorrow morning, especially early pre-market if you're trading during that time. Now, for trading options, of course, we have to wait until 9:30 a.m. Eastern time to really see what's happening. So the morning from 4 to 9:30, it's not going to be as important. So we can kind of check around 9:15 a.m. Eastern time and get prepared. But the 1 hour time frame is showing bullish sentiment. That is a long trend with our 1 minute bullish pivot pro, or our pivot pro, right? 4 hour time frame, switch over to that. And this is going to be a longer time frame. And I have the setting, let's see, I have the setting on the longer trend as well. So I have that longer trend. I like the longer trend. It's less noise, I guess you can say, less signals, yes. And of course, we are going to get pulled back and, not get close to the top and close to the bottom at all times. However, we're not going to get stopped out as often either. So a move like this here, we can stay in that type of move for a little bit longer using this type of trend. So that's why I like that. So looking over on the right-hand side where we're trading at this time, what's happened here is we showed the bearish signal or short signal over here on this left-hand side. That was on last Monday, I believe that was. So it was Monday the 30th, June 30th. So that was showing the bearish signal there. Since then, we then retested that area of value. We hit that resistance, and then that was a nice opportunity for those traders. So if you're looking for a short opportunity, that's what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for the signal. I'm looking for it to curl back up, test that zone. Once you test the zone, come on back down to me, and that's where I'm making money, right? Because I'm buying in this area typically. And that's going to be on this strategy. Now, this is where I'd be taking profit as we pull back. This was a really strong move. So if you're in a short position here at that trend area and resistance, and you got in at that resistance, all of a sudden, boom, you made yourself a nice trade there. At this point now, we've retested that trend zone and trend area. We have broken through the trend area, closed above, and we are now testing the top of that gap, the top of that resistance. So, this is we're inside a tough spot here. We're in between support and resistance because on the 1 hour time frame, yes, it's showing that support area, but on a 4 hour time frame, it's showing resistance. So we're kind of wedged in between those two. So oftentimes you'll hear me say that we're wedged between support and resistance. And so it's kind of an indecisive type of area. So it may make some moves on the daily time frames, but I may be sitting on the sidelines during this time because it's more of a sideways type of action. I want to see that breakout strength. So I'm waiting for it to give me that signal of which way it wants to go. At this point, if we're going to go long and bullish, of course, we want to see that 4 hour time frame close above the top resistance. We have resistance here around 317.17 and 306.55. So it's going to act as support. And so because this line down below, the bottom of that trend is below the price, it is going to act as a support. So that is going to act as some support there. So we do have multiple support levels. We have some support on this time frame here. We'll go ahead and mark that line. I can mark it just like that. So we know that we have support there. We have support here, and that's marking on the 1 hour time frame. It should carry over to our other charts. And so the way we're looking at this now is we're drawing those lines and levels, our key levels of interest. And we're in this gap, right? So we have resistance top of this gap. We have support levels. So now we're starting to form an opinion, form a strategy here, and form, our game plan for the week. So now we know, okay, if it's above the support, then okay, we have support down here. That's where I feel comfortable adding into my position. If I'm in the position, maybe I'm taking profit around resistance, or maybe looking for a breakout of resistance for that confirmation of continuation. So 4 hour time frame showing bearish sentiment, short trend, even though we are gapping up and testing resistance until we close above, until we see that signal, I'm still short. I'm still thinking that we're short because I'm not really trying to think about it, right? It's not, I really shouldn't say thinking, because I'm not really doing any thinking here. I'm letting the strategy do the work. So if we close above that area, it gives me the signal, then I stop thinking that we're short. I start thinking that we're long, and I start looking for long opportunities. So we close above, we get the signal. I look for the pullback back into our trend zone. That's where I'm buying into my area. Looking for, at that point, would be calls. Right now, we're still in shorts or short positions will be puts here on this one. So as we pull back, the 4 hour time frame is showing bearish sentiment. Let's take a look at the daily time frame. Same thing. Zooming in here, we are seeing on the daily time frame, we are seeing resistance and we are seeing some support. So this is going to be below the current price, so we'll act as that support. I think that's about the same line as this 307.89 level, so we'll keep that one there, and I think that's good. Above that, we have, let's see, right in here is going to be at the top of this level. That's 320.05 is going to be the top resistance on this daily time frame. Now, this trend is set to a quick trend, and that's the difference between the two daily time frames. Is one is quick trend, one is long trend, right? So hopefully that's not too confusing, but this again, quick trend on the left, long trend on the right. Just follow along with me. We'll get to this conclusion here at the end. Trend is short on the daily time frame with a short setting. We are looking for puts or short opportunities at this time until it tells us differently. Right now we are testing resistance, so this would be a good area on the daily to possibly look for that pullback. Now, the only thing I want to say on this, though, that I'm a little hesitant about myself, this is my own thinking and process, is that this was the short trend signal over here. So this was our signal. So if I turn this off for a minute, let me turn off the drawings for a minute. So just looking at the indicator, this was our short trend signal. So this was our reversal, and that was a massive drop there, and that's okay. That's what we're looking for. So that was our reversal signal. At that point, now I'm looking for a pullback into our trend zone. I took this pullback into a trend zone, made money on my puts, locked in the profit. I'm out of the position. I'm no longer in the position. Now I'm looking for a reversal signal. I'm looking for that signal to either go long, or I'm looking for a retest and a break of this resistance. So as we retest into this resistance, this is an entry. And where would my stop loss be? It would be just above this trend. So if I'm looking to stick to the plan and stay consistent, that's where that would be. So now as we dropped here, that would be profit taking, right? We're starting to bounce back into that zone. Now, this is where it gets interesting, right? This is the fun part. Next week and this week going forward, we'll see what it does at resistance. Is it going to break and close above resistance, which is going to be the best thing that can happen, because then it gives us our trend signal reversal. So that's our signal reversal. Then we wait for the pullback to our trend zone for our entry, right? So that's a good thing. That's what we're looking for. Otherwise, it's a riskier buy here because we've already tested, gave a successful trade there. This is a second test. It can only test so many times before it fails. However, in theory, this is still a short trend. So this would be a higher risk type of setup. So maybe I want to take puts that are a little bit less risk, maybe a lotto type of play, something I'm willing to lose on. Basically, I want to mitigate risk because this is higher risk due to the fact, that we've already tested that resistance zone. So that's something to be aware of. So if I'm getting in here, higher risk, smaller size, yada, yada, you guys get the idea. But at this point, I'm still leaning on the short trend side. I know it seems bullish, it seems great, it seems all this. Now, this could very well gap all the way up to resistance 320, fail, come back down, and still show a bearish trend. Or it could go all the way up here to 320, 325, 330 before it finally shows the reversal. And of course, buyers who are buying that reversal down here were getting a lot better entry than I would and are already in the money by the time I'm getting into the position. So, awesome for them. There's nothing wrong with that. For me, guys, being a consistent trader, I like to look for the confirmation. So yes, it looks tempting. Yes, it looks like one of those trades you're licking your chops and thinking, man, I can make a lot of money on this, and you can. However, it is higher risk. So don't shade the facts here. It is higher risk. So in that case, I want to mitigate risk, trade smaller size, yada yada. You guys get the idea. I've said it a million times. So now, what I'm looking for is that reversal. This is the daily time frame on the, let's see, the short trend. We know it's a short trend on there as well. So let's take it to the long trend. Now, at this point, we know it's going to be a short trend on each one of these higher time frames because each smaller time frame is giving the signal first. So in theory, we want to see the short trend on the daily time frame show the signal first that it is long before it shows over here. That's how it would work. So anyway, we now have a daily time frame here. We've got a line and level to plot right there. I'll go ahead and turn this back on or off. And now we have the resistance is going to be up here. We have a minor support. So if I zoom in on this, there's our lines. If I zoom in, you can see a line right around here. So you can see 311.65. So I'll put this 311.60 is fine. That's good enough for me. And again, any price that's below the current price, that is going to act as a form of support. Any line or level that is above the current price is going to act as a form of resistance, right? So areas to take profit, areas to possibly get into our positions. This is going to help me really stick to a game plan. So these lines, they start to really form an area of value. So, okay, so that is our areas of value. We know this is resistance up here. So 336.58. So even if we start bumping up here, again, it's the same thing. If I turn these lines off again for a minute, this is the longer time frame, or excuse me, longer trend setting on the Pivot Pro. What this is showing is the short signal, just like we saw over there. Short signal there, that's our candle. We're waiting for the pullback. This is our pullback. This is where I'd be entering into my trade. I'd be taking profit possibly here or holding, and then all of a sudden I'd be, this is what I'm talking about, guys. This is, we pulled back into the zone. There is profit to be had here, but if you didn't take profit and you're holding out, all of a sudden it pulled up to here, you're probably taking a loss at this point, right? And it looks like, man, it looks really bullish. And anybody who bought down here for that bullish swing, they made a great profit. However, just because it bumps up like that does not mean it is bullish, right? The strategy is still telling us, be careful here. Be careful. This is not A+. This is not my best strategy. So this is a bounce watch, right? So it's a higher risk type of opportunity, and this is something I want to mitigate risk. So as we bounce here, we hit that resistance, fade back off, and look at this. We made pretty much new lows from the entry. So if you're in the position all the way from over here at this tap of that line, that's where you're entering. Pull back over to here. At the peak, you're down $33 a share, which is going to be a positive because, of course, we're in puts. We're in looking for it to go down, right? So this is just working out beautifully for you. But, of course, holding on to this position, if you had too close of expiration dates on your puts there, you could have been getting stopped out for very little, right? But this is going to be something, same thing. We're now curling back up into that resistance. We are now testing a resistance zone. So it really is tough for me to get back into this position because it's not giving me that signal first. So I want to see that signal. I want to see something like this long signal right here. I want to see that long signal, retest of the zone, enter into my position, explode into my direction. That's what I want to see. So right now I have to be patient. So going into this week, I'm watching price action. I'm watching each daily candle as it closes, and I'm looking, where are we positioned here? Are we going to gap and close above our resistance zone, or are we going to continue to fade off here and show that same trend that we've been fading off right now? So right now, again, daily time frame, guys, can't help it. I'm leaning towards short bias until we show that reversal. We can bounce all the way to 340 and still be short, right? It's just I'm talking more long term. So I guess a short term bounce, it could happen, right? But I'm looking for more of a long term swing possibly, or a higher probability swing. So daily time frame, we know it's showing a bearish sentiment, short trend. Weekly time frame, the big wazoo. This is my favorite right here. This is my favorite time frame. This is going to give you those long stretch type of plays. So if you're looking for those, long expiration date type of options, then your weekly time frame can provide that for you. It's going to provide those longer trend type of setups. These are weekly candles. You'll be in your position for a long time, and that can be a really profitable position if you know how to trade that type of setup, right? So in this situation right now, what we are seeing is a bearish trend, bearish short trend, right? So we are talking about puts again and still. And until we close above these lines and levels that we have, I'll turn the lines back on. I'll turn this on here, put that on the chart, and there we go. All right, we have that as a resistance, and I think we're good with that for support. So that is pretty much all of it. So let's go back to we know on the weekly trend it is a short trend. So we'll go back to the hour trend, or the hour time frame, right? We'll reset our chart, we'll zoom in here. So looking at the hour time frame, so maybe I want to trade the hour time frame, and these are the levels that I'm watching for possible targets or areas of value to enter into my trade or whatever it may be. At this time, we have a 1 hour time frame here. We have multiple levels of support below. So right now, minor support or support levels below would be 306.58, 307.65, 307.89, right in this area. So really from 306 to say 308, right? 306 to 308 is an area of value. And then from say 310 to 312. 310 to 312 is another area of value. If we start to break down those levels, then I'm going to possibly look for quick scalps on the short side, right? Puts on that type of setup. If we start to retest that level and then bounce off of it, then we can possibly look for calls to these higher resistance levels, which are going to be around 317 and 320. So these are areas of value that I'm watching. And of course, above that, 336 and 375. So really, guys, until we start to clear these levels, and we can mark these as daily levels, you can maybe color code it a different color, whatever it may be. Maybe you can draw them yellow, whatever it may be, just to distinguish that this is a daily time frame versus a weekly time frame. And until we start to close over on these daily time frames, we can't really sit here and say that, yes, it is bullish, right? So even though it looks bullish again on this 1 hour time frame, yes, it is showing that long trend type of sentiment. That's great, right? These are going to be for quick type of trades, maybe for a day, 2 days, 3 days. not really a few weeks out, not that type of setup, not yet anyways. So until we see the reversal on these other time frames, we're going to be leaning towards short opportunities in the long run, and for quick trends and quick trades, possibly calls and quick bounce plays, right? But for me, I'm going to lean a little bit more towards the short side. I think I'm more comfortable trading the short side until we start to see the reversal on these daily time frames. Now, for the news that we're watching this week, guys, so that was the chart breakdown. But for the news that we're watching this week, we do have some news as well. And we have, let's see, we've got earnings this week, actually. We have earnings on Wednesday. So that's going to be something that's really going to impact the price. So that is something where I may sit sidelines until we see the results there. So again, we could be trading those smaller time frames, but just understand it is higher risk, especially with that news that comes out. It could reverse quickly, very quickly, right? So just want to be careful of that. We've got news. The robotaxi expansion is underway. So we have that coming out here soon. Some news about that. Grok AI rolling out to vehicles. I haven't read much about that, but I guess that's a big deal. So that's something to look at as well. Tesla enters India July 15th. That's important as well. So we've got a lot of news coming up this next week, and this is all in our Discord in the daily Tesla report. So definitely check that out. So we do have news to be aware of this upcoming week, and we do have the chart basically telling us right now we have the short trend. If you're holding for a short period of time, it is possibly bullish. If you're holding for more of a longer period of time, as of this time, it is still showing a short trend, and something that I'm not comfortable jumping into with a large size. So for me, I'm going to sit back, sit on the sidelines, no position on Tesla going into this week. Let's see what happens. I may be trading calls and puts based on the 1 hour time frame for like quick trades, but again, it may just be lotto trades, something I'm willing to lose on. Until I'm seeing these wider time frames show me that sign of reversal, I'm not going to be trading aggressive. So just keep that in mind, guys. And we'll post the daily report each day. So this will change each day with those levels. And if you want to get access to those levels, then you can see that in the Discord channel with the Tesla daily report. But guys, that's my breakdown this week. Hopefully that helped. I'll see you guys in the Discord. If you have any questions, reach out, and hopefully we have a great week. So I hope you have a great week as well. I'll see everyone in chat, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.
Remember, trading isn't about being perfect. It's about being prepared. If you're serious about improving and want to learn directly from our live sessions, visit bullishboblive.com. We're live Monday to Friday, walking through setups, strategies, and everything in between. Thanks again for watching. Stay focused, stay sharp, and keep growing.